It's Black History Month, and we just spoke about the Ethiopian princess from Greek mythology, Andromeda, as well as the overall whitewashing of an African princess in artistic representations of Andromeda from the Renaissance onward. Now, I know I said that she was from Ethiopia, but I thought I'd offer a little more context to what the ancient Greeks believed Ethiopia to be in those times, and not necessarily the same country parameters that we know of in modern Ethiopia today. The ancient Greek historian Herodotus, also sometimes known as the father of lies, but anyway, moving on, he created this map. And it is kind of a good example of what the ancient Greeks believed Ethiopians to be. They kind of had it as a blanket term for basically everybody here. So that is specifically as well the region of Nubia, which is sort of northern Sudan and coming up the Nile River. So other than the character of Andromeda, who was an Ethiopian princess, her parents, the king and queen Cepheus and Cassiopeia of Ethiopia, there are other mythological texts that talk about Africa and talk about mythological characters or gods interacting with Africans and that region. The pre-Hellenic civilizations such as the Minoans and the Mycenaeans, they had definite ties to at least Egypt, and that comes through in their artwork and ways of life. So that was the Bronze Age. But a mythological example from the 8th century BCE by none other than Homer, in Homer's Iliad, which details the Trojan War, Homer describes the African continent and the African people as blameless in the context of this war. They were not involved in the Trojan War. And for that reason, gods such as Zeus and Poseidon liked to just hang out down there to feast with the blameless Ethiopians. Aside from being detached from the Trojan War, these gods just really liked the area because they provided amazing feasts. It was a beautiful mystical land, peaceful and abundant. Homer is talking about the region from North Sudan across to the Sahara. I touched on this briefly, but also the Ethiopia region is where the sun god Helios starts his journey across the sky from east to west, starting in Ethiopia and ending in Morocco. So the ancient Greeks and the ancient Africans very connected. Until about the 1100s BCE, the Minoan and Mycenaean civilizations fall and they become detached from Africa. But trade still exists, and so did the mythology, with several mythological characters having ties to Africa during the Hellenistic period. We talked about Andromeda and her parents, but there was another king of Ethiopia whose mother was Eos, goddess of the dawn. This king was called Memnon, and he was said to be as strong and skilled in warfare as Achilles. I know I'm putting it very simply by saying Ethiopia was a blanket term for quite a large part of Africa. The ancient Greeks also marveled at African culture through artwork and sculpture.